What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you with the late but wow Friday. Why? Because Friday is Freedom Friday. And I was going to do a show earlier, but I decided to spend a good 3 hours, honestly, calling up old friends, calling up college buddies, just calling up people and seeing where they were. I wanted to take a temperature gauge. So if you're here tonight, drop your city and state. And for those of you who've been waiting for the emails on me giving the 60% off the whole website, links in the comments, and I'll put it in the video description as well. The code is Wow Friday, literally Wow Friday. Now, this does apply to everything on the site, even the stuff that has payment plans. It will go for 3 months. So after the third month, back to regular price with your payment plan schedule. But here's the thing. I had to step back. Yesterday, I did a video, and I realized it angered people. And what I had to remember is you have to have some sympathy and some empathy for where people are right now. People are freaking out, even though it's been a month. People are like about to lose everything because it's been a month. And when I talked about homeless people, and I talked about a few things the other day about about how people have mismanagement of funds, and I've been there. And so, I have my face steamer. This is the Hey Dewey face steamer for those of you who love to ask. And I talked to my friend in New York, and, he lives in a very nice part of New York. And of course, he works at a hedge fund. And I laugh because we all went to ECU. We were all in the finance departments. We were all taking e-commerce and economics and business classes together. And a bunch of them went up to New York to work on Wall Street. And I end up, following some of the pages on Instagram that they follow. And I was laughing all day. We're talking on the phone. It was like old times. It was great, and then what I realized is they live different. I live different. I grew up different. I come on here and, the funny thing is when I talk to people, I realize I'm different. And someone said, you're all cocky and you're all, and what I realize is I've changed, of course. And there's a book I'm reading that I'll be talking about more on Saturday in the Ultimate Rise of 20%. You want transformation from the people around you. So I've been doing this YouTube thing for like 5 years, 6 years, almost 7. And I've changed, and the audience sometimes doesn't change, right? Or they're just kind of coasting. Nothing's made them have to change. So what I ended up doing is I had started, 2 other side channels where I was talking about holistic and, the steamer's all up in it and the vitamins and the supplements and hair. And then I had this other channel was just stocks. Because what I realized is people are like, man, you're just doing so much, Erica. How are you doing so much? And I literally sat in my office all day. And I had planned it like this from the beginning. Yesterday, we all got all the employees' payment out. We got everything straight. Everybody on staff was done today. And this is trucking. And I know people are like, no way, man. No way. What's up, Andre Hatchick? Happy birthday. And I even talked to Andre a little bit today. But when I got on the phone with my friends, it resetted me for a minute. And I realized that, when I come on here, I want change for you, right? I want growth for you. And I realized I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. So for me, only thing I can do, and as somebody emailed me, and I had promised 60% off everything. Code is Wow Friday. I'm putting it in the comment section. Don't worry. I just want you guys to understand that all these people out here complaining about Grant Cardone and all this other stuff, it cracks me up because as I was talking to my friend in New York today, him and his friends are doing the same old. Now they're not partying and drinking down there near Wall Street by any means, but no. But they're at home, they're trading. Some are doing options, some are doing stocks. I even talked with them about Terry's class and Todd Millie's class, and they were like, yeah, blah, 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 and it was a great conversation. I had missed talking to people, and that's what it was, right? So I literally spent 3 hours a day talking to people on the phone and just touching base and realizing that habits make us who we are, And what do I mean by habits? There's a book called Choose Yourself, and I'm probably gonna name a couple books, but don't worry about it. There's a book called Choose Yourself, And in this book, you have to choose yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, you can build up your own traffic. You can build up your own website. You can build up your own YouTube. You can do all these things. But if you're looking for validation for other people, it will wear you out. You will live and die by comments. And what you have to do is actually live and die by your habits. Now, what do I mean by that? I worked out with my personal trainer the other day, and every time he'd be like, "Are you okay? Do you want to do it?" I'm like, "Let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway." It's not about emotions. It's about your habits. How do you change anything? Your habits. Um, right now, a lot of people, they were upset in Michigan because all these people were outside protesting. And people in New York were like, how dare, it was somebody on The View, Joyce Breyer, or whoever her name is. She was like, well, those people need to give up their right to be treated at the hospital. And that just shows you how disconjointed we are, right? Because Wyoming and Michigan and Iowa and Oklahoma and Kansas are nothing like New York. They're nothing like South Carolina. They're nothing like Florida. And what I've watched and noticed is people backpedal, but backpedal very kindly. Like, well, Dr. Faulkner said there's going to be millions of people dead. Well, now it's going to be a couple 100,000. Well, then they're even showing you in New York where a lot of these people are marking up these documents and no one's even being tested, right? No one's even being tested. So really, my whole thing on my holistic channel was making sure I tell people, hey, take your vitamins, take your water, do your supplements, because they're not even accurately documenting how people are dying. 7,000 people die every day in the United States. 3,000 a day supposedly are dying from this crisis. But we don't know that because New York's numbers are not accurate. New York doesn't have enough testing. They don't have enough testing strips. They don't have enough testing centers. So they're just making some of this up. Now, when you bring that up, people call you crazy. Oh, man, girl, you so crazy, girl. The news told me everybody out here dying. Okay, girl, they know me. They told me already. So what you have to do is you have to realize people are creatures of habit. If they come home from work and they sit in front of the TV and they watch TV and the TV tells them something, it's the truth. Not everybody researches and studies. Not everybody takes a minute to change their habits. What I've loved seeing out here, out my window, because my window faces a lake, is people walking together at the lake. Families walking, everybody out here walking. And it just warmed my heart. Well, what was funny is I turned on the news and this news reporter was kind of shocked that all these people in these Midwest places are still eating outside, eating outside, walking around, sitting in the back of pickup trucks, living their best life. I mean, they just can't stand it. New Yorkers like, I can't stand it. And I was laughing because there's a movie called Escape Out of New York with what's his name? If anybody can tell me, it's from the 1980s. It's called Escape Out of New York. But anyway, it's amazing. It's amazing. And because it's funny, and this guy made this cover. Well, the reason I bring all this up is I was feeling a little frustrated from yesterday's video and people's comments. And I just take the time to respond. And the guy's like, oh, business owners like you are horrible. And I say, yo, listen, I'm one of the best. Right? I will defend myself because I choose myself. I go above and beyond from all my staff, all my employees, all my investors. And what's funny is people get really upset when you really say, no, I'm not. And they go, well, okay, yeah, I understand. Because I was saying that driver is complaining and going back and forth and being very emotional. And the guy was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Thank you. I know I'm right. And people may be like, man, Erica, you really feeling yourself. And I go, yeah, because I spent years working on habits that build up the person. This isn't a false build-up bravado, right? This is a real thing. Now, this just give you insight of what I mean this week is I was studying Terry's and Todd Millie's stock courses, right? One is talking about options, other is talking about. So this week, what I was doing is everything I trained in my life and built in my life is working in order. Everybody on staff's dispatching drivers, don't need me. Everything's on autopilot, don't need me. Fuel cards working, don't need me. Everybody in office. I was just literally sitting in my office today on the phone talking to people and there for 4 hours before that, looking over everything like, oh, wow, it's a super quiet day. Everything's paid. Everything's out. That's interesting. Oh, but it wasn't, because I had built up those habits. Now, in the thumbnail, you see me talking about El Chapo's giving out aid. And why am I bringing this up? Because people are like, oh, El Chapo, what kind of conversation are we having tonight? El Chapo, who we in the news are like, he's the worst. He's the worst guy ever. He's a murderer. He's a drug lord. His daughter is walking free in the streets with her compadres from the El Chapo staff, handing out aid, handing out food, handing out water, alcohol wipes, the whole deal. And I was laughing because I was like, man, that's wow, right? Because here's why it's wow. Because they know marketing. His face is literally on the box. Like, how long did it take them to go in the back and stamp every box with the little stamp of his face? El Chapo aid. And so I wanted you to think about the habit of it. These people have gotten used to this environment, right? And you tell somebody, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. But people, if you put something in their hand, they're going to look at it, right? Now, flow with me. I know I'm taking a minute to get you there, but flow with me. Every day you go, don't go outside. Don't you go outside. Don't you do it, Linda. Linda, you stay inside. But Linda is used to getting her hair and nails and feet done on Friday. Linda's used to going to Zumba class Tuesday, Thursday. Now Linda gonna go say, look, I'm gonna risk it all, baby, for the Zumba class and for the hair done. Because Linda's created a habit of that life. This is what she does to feel good. This is what she does. Now, when you start trying to confine people, what you're seeing is a pushback of intellectual people who are like, why are we still in the house? Why are we still in the house? And people are like, oh, everybody gonna die. It's gonna be bad. Again, what this showed you is people don't wash their hands or they stinking butts. That's all it showed you. People don't wash their hands or they stinking butts. So what I've noticed now is my friend said he works at a dealership and all the men are like in the bathroom, like washing their hands. They've been feared into washing their hands. So that tells you what men were doing before that. You already know men don't wash their hands in the bathroom. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But why is this important? It's all in the marketing. You haven't marketed to people that this makes sense. So a person who has nothing but time at home to just sit and think like, this don't make no sense. DMV Pat, do you want to be timed out today? We already talked about the facial steamer. And when people really sit down and think, like, this don't make sense, we still can get 70% of people back to work. Let's get 70 people back to work. The other 30%, we're going to help them out how we see fit, how we configure. Because let me tell you something. This is where this goes, okay? Please stay inside, Sierra. Be safe. The reason why I'm bringing this up, there's an article. It's like 3 of them, and they studied these communities. They studied white boys and they studied black boys. They studied black boys in the suburbs where 70% of the neighbors had mom and dads, men around. It was like near PG County. It was like the other side of PG County, some other small town, and they were studying it. And the boys were okay. They finished high school. They went on to college. The numbers were fine as long as 70% of the dudes around the neighborhood married other women. Like, didn't have to have the actual man near him, but in the environment near him, in the neighborhood, in the school near him, 70%, right? Now, when they went and looked at the other neighborhoods, white and black, where it got below that 70% of them seeing other men around, like it just was a lot of single parent homes, projects, all this stuff, they did terrible. They did horrible. Didn't finish high school, didn't have encouragement, had low self-esteem. They literally were like, 70% is some kind of number, right? Now, why is this important? Our economy can handle 70% of people working and 30% not. I know people are like, you're an a-hole, but here's the thing. Those people have 2 things they'll do. They will elevate themselves. They will create new habits. They will get on the computer. They will figure out, I'm going to have to do this to have my new life. These people over here out of that 30%, they're going to dough down. They're going to say, I need the government to give me some money. I cannot make it. I want this right here. Now, this has been studied, this side of this people in West Virginia, in the Rust Belt towns, in Pennsylvania. And what happens is they realize when they come in these towns, they say, listen, the factories are closing. You can't do coal work no more. Here's some other stuff you can do. They have a percentage that immediately go into trucking. They go into blue collar trades. They go into roofing, construction. No problem. They take up, they go somewhere else. Then this percent over here goes down. I watched a actual documentary on a town where the police officer was like, I'm really sad ever since the place closed. And he's like, why? Because of the jobs? He's like, no, it's because what's happened to the people. He's like, everybody's on disability or welfare of some type. And he's like, they're aimless. They're looking for trouble. And he said, so I break up a lot of fights. He's like, some weekends my jail is full of people who got in fights in the yard or cookouts. This is why I'm so hard on this channel about people having goals, having purpose, having mission. This is why even in the planner, where I keep telling y'all in the planner, pick up 3 things you need to do today. In the planner, every day is the same. Drink some water, get 30 minutes of exercise. What are you grateful for today? It's all about perspective. Because let me tell you, after I got off the phone today, after 3 hours of talking to people, I loved it. I was energized. 1, because I'm an extrovert. And 2, because every single person I talked to was living their best life. They had chose themselves. Even my 2 friends who are in New York were like, yeah, this sucks. But every day I just get food delivered to me. Or I cook. I've been learning how to cook. One of them learned how to cook, which is kind of funny because he's in his 30s and he should have been know how to cook. But the one that, let's be honest, he's Black from an area where he's a single parent home. He's literally making money on stocks and he's sending the money back home to North Carolina. Like it's crazy. Like we're talking and I realized he's living his freaking best life. And he's been taking pictures on Instagram, which he did not give me permission to give his Instagram away. But he'll literally dress up in the button-up part of the shirt and the jacket and take a picture on the desk. And he keeps posting them on Instagram, like, day whatever from New York. And he don't have no pants on. So, I mean, it's funny. And his whole excitement is, man, this summer is going to be lit. I'm going to go overseas. I should have escaped. Like, some of his friends went down to, is it called New Hampshire? What is it called down there? Hampton? Whatever the place is. He said they kept, long and the story short, they're in New York. And some of their actual friends who are in finances and management, stuff like that, they live in cities and states below them, like Connecticut and other stuff like that. And also, some of them have escaped New York and went further south and just rented out beach places. Because they're like, they can't make them go to work. They can't make them go to work. They can do a lot of stuff from home, but they can't make them go to work. And a lot of them are just doing phone calls, talking to investors, checking on private equity. That's it. The Hamptons, okay, thank you. Whatever, and the Hamptons and whatever beaches below New York, whatever is below there. But their whole thing is like, man, I wish I'd escaped earlier. Jersey Shore, okay. He was just like, I wish I'd escaped earlier. Everybody else got out and I'm stuck here. And it was funny because, you know, his life really didn't change. How long will the class videos be saved? Yep, they'll be there forever. They'll be there forever. Jones Beach, maybe. Maybe I can go ask him. But it was just a fun conversation because it just reminded me of like growing up in college and like the people I grew up around and realizing why I am the way I am and who I am and like why I'm not stressed, even if like everything was gone tomorrow and I had $500. Like I was literally telling him $500 and everything was gone. I'd literally do options, you know. I daily kind of just slowly build it all back up. I'd start a new thing. I'd start a new online thing. There's a million things I would do, but that's me, right? That's because I built a habit of building. When you don't build a habit of building, all this is overwhelming. There are people who've been watching this channel for 4 or 5 years, and I've talked to people, and I've been like, oh man, Eric, I'm going to get my LLC. This has been year 3 of you telling me you're going to get your LLC. Come on. Come on. I mean, it really, it gets. I am running a Wild Friday. Hey, listen, you know why? Because here's what I realized. There is several psychology books on people will not buy something unless it's on sale. So what they do is they mark the prices up high and then say it's 60% off or it's 40% off. And now the person paid what they're going to pay anyway. Right? But it's something about the psychology of a sale that has been bred into Americans and other people that they won't buy unless it's a sale. And so I'm gonna send it out to all the email lists tomorrow, and no worries, because somebody emailed me today like, hey, you said you were doing this 60% off. And I said, dang, okay. Dang, girl, okay. Like, you emailing me right now, okay. I said, don't worry, I'm gonna get the email out because I want to be a person of my word. And it again, I'm not gonna die. Now, part of what I was watching earlier is somebody was complaining about Grant Cardone. And I was laughing. And so what I started doing is I was trolling yesterday, and I had to stop myself. That's why I talked to all my friends today, to reset my mind, to stop my trolling. And I was trolling them. I was like, why are you hating on Grant? I was like, so what? This is just one of his businesses. Most investors in apartment complexes usually get quarterly payments, if not biannual payments, every 6 months. So he's got a lot of unsophisticated investors and unaccredited investors that he paid every month $50, $100, $300. And they freaking out. You freaking out over $50? Grant was in a video one time and he let it slip where this guy was complaining about his money. And he said, this guy sent us $5,000 and his payments are like $50 a month or something to that effect. He's like, you're freaking out and sending me emails over $50? And I really want to tell Grant, yeah, they will do that. This is why people don't do it. And so what you have to realize is, again, people are hating on him, but they forget the whole picture, right? Same thing with all the friends I know right now. I can tell you about 10 people who I know they have about 4 or 5 businesses. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. I know, but I ain't telling Andrea Hatchett business, but Andrea Hatchett probably got 4 or 5 businesses. AM1, 4 or 5 businesses. A lot of these other people, 4 or 5 businesses. And what happens is they got other insurance. So they don't, hey, I'll give you 60% off. I'll give you 70% off. True. I got this other business over here doing something else. Again, I bought a bunch of masks for the office, and they were like, where do you get these masks? They're completely sold out. No, they're not. No, they're not. You can get them from China. You just got to buy 1,000 at a time or 500 at a time. So I got a friend who got a warehouse in South Carolina. He out there, and guess what he do? All him, his wife, and his cousins, they out here putting little stickers. They got the thing still in the original bags, y'all. When I got it, it's in the original bag. If I had one here, I'll show you. And just put a sticker on it talking about, thanks for shopping with us. That's it. That's it. That's it. And he's like, oh man, I thought I was really gonna be hurt because my other business is closed. Because he owns a coffee shop in a small spot in South Carolina. And guess what? When you're in a small town, South Carolina, people have a routine and a habit of going by where? The small coffee shop. They go get him some bagels. They go get a sandwich. They sit out front. They talk for a long time. And that's why when people sit here and tell me, sit here and complain and tell me that, oh, all these businesses need to be closed. You're talking about small towns with a lot of space and not that many people. Sorry, talking about different areas. It's not the same. Everything's not the same. Everywhere is not the same. And I was right. I don't have to go around gloating that I was right, but I know I was right. And whether anybody ever gives me the benefication saying, Erica was right about Texas, you ain't got to. I know I'm right. Justice Facial, I sell digital art, and I sold 3x more when I raised my prices. People are weird. Yeah, it's a mental thing. Justice, it's a mental thing. And right now I can tell you, I raised the price on one of the bundles to like $1,000. I'm probably going to raise it again to probably 1,500 because I realized people were skipping over this amazing bundle to just buy one course. And I'm like, that bundle will give you everything you need. If you actually take the class, if you actually sit at home every day and do about an hour of learning every day, in about a week, you're going to have a game plan. Point blank period. Like every day, I just spend like an hour to 2 hours watching Terry stuff, watching Todd Milley stuff, just reminding myself about stocks and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay. But people don't understand it. Same thing when I talk about my YouTube course. You spend an hour a day doing all the stuff we talk about in the YouTube course. You're gonna have a YouTube business because you're building the consistency. See, but what happens is we've built habits of I come home, I watch this TV show for an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours. I drink a little something in the afternoon, then I go to bed. And it repeats itself. Or I get up on Saturday and I clean my house. Like we make a joke about growing up as kids. Didn't your parents make you clean the house on Saturdays? Mine did. I don't know about y'all, but when mine went at basic training, not basic training, when they're at weekend drill, they made us clean up. And again, it's all about habits. It's all about training yourself. Today, when it was so quiet at office, I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, nothing's wrong going on. There's no fire to put out. And my office manager was like, shh, be quiet before you make something happen. I'm like, I know. I better not say that word. So I just kept making phone calls. And Ray Brickham, thank you for the $10 super chat. Your journey is really inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so what I laugh about is I live here in Texas. We've been open. Ain't nothing different's happening. Right now, you just got more people out. That's just all. Period. Yep. If it's too cheap, some people won't buy. Yeah, Andre Hatchett, it's the truth. Some influencers are getting really desperate, usually 5 to 10. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I really thought about spending a day next week, but I really want to put somebody on it. I'm going to see if my VA can do it. Just reach out to Instagrammers all day long and see if who we can convince to do is let me do a shout out on their page. Because ads are all-time lows. Facebook ads, all-time lows. YouTube ads are all-time lows. I got some staff working on ads. And what I realize is what's going to happen in May is some people going to get evicted. That's about it. That's all. I mean, Texas has been open. Texas has been open. And whether people vindicate me and say I was right, that's okay. I know I was right. Because I live here. I work here. I invest here. And prime example, Shaniqua out of California, Shaniqua Badger, she had 12 closings or 12 listings. And I was like, go girl. She's like, what virus? What crisis? Because guess what? I know people don't want to believe this. And everybody's saying real estate agents are delusional. 60% of listings came off the market. People change their mind. It's okay. That means there's less what? Listings, less things for sale, right? What does that do? Keep the price semi-high. Right now, will prices kind of go back to more reasonable where if the national is 75% of people make 30K to 50K a year? Houses, what's the 3X? Somebody tell me what's the 3X. Let me go on my phone, make sure before I quote this. Be lying to you. The average couple together, so that's 65,000. Really 50, but we'll do 65,000 for the sake of argument. Times 3. That means a house is going to be around 195,000. Now, I know some of you live up north and go, what? I ain't never ever heard that. Yes, down south here in Texas, we got houses for sale in Gerald for 170,000. We got houses all over Houston, Texas for 225,000. We got houses all over San Antonio for 150,000. Got a bunch, and I'm not talking about no little Beano shack. I'm talking about nice big houses, 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms, nice backyard. Okay. Deanza, usually I'm driving when you go live. Trucker, Texas is definitely not closed. Thank you. And what I want people to understand is I want you to realize that yes, some prices are going to go down. So some homes are going to get in the South are going to get closer to yes, steam therapy. Thank you. You know what I'm doing. There you go. Some people are getting closer to and this is cold steam too. This isn't hot. So for any of you worried about the dewy steamer, it's a cold mist to your face. It helps with your sinuses. It helps with your skin. I told you people don't want to be out here, looking like leather. Okay, don't do it. Moisturize your face. I met a man the other day. We were talking and not like that. I mean, I was at Home Depot and he was talking about something and I looked at him and I was like, he's got to be old. And he was saying something. I was like, oh, he only in his 30s. Honey, you got to start using that sunblock. Looking like leather. Anyway, part of why I'm bringing this up is these habits you build right now matter. Yes, it's cold steam, y'all. This is Dewey's. It's cold steam and it's wonderful for your sinuses and your face. I mean, they're going to have to give me an influencer check at some point. I saw the influencers they use on their page. I'm about to call them again and be like, yo, stop playing with me. Give me my check. Sierra can't cook. Headhunters are still hunting. Folks don't realize that. Facts. What good side business for career military people? Again, 365 American Express, man, you have to take out a piece of paper and you have to write down what your strengths are. A lot of people just want to follow something because there's money, but you actually got to write down what your strengths are. If that's some people don't have strengths like that to do side businesses. Some of them need to give their career 100% focus, just being honest, and then focus on an after school activity or focus on some courses they can start taking. Texas needs to stay red. It is not about Texas staying red. What people have to realize is local elections matter the most, because right now we've got people in some of these small towns who their leadership is like, closed for what? Right? Then you got some of these towns who have really ridiculous leadership, and that person's going to abuse the power, right? Power is not given, power is taken. And to get power back, boy, you got to take it back. So, what folks don't understand is when you hear people from New York and LA screaming, everybody stay inside. And then they see all these videos on the internet of us in our giant backyards in Texas, out here talking to our neighbors with huge front yards away from each other, and then going to get ice cream and go in the store. They're like so mad about Texas out there living their best life. How dare them South Carolina folks? And then they have to backpedal and say, well, maybe the disease is different in different places. No, it's not. It's the same thing. It's just a strand. It's just like the flu. Okay. Whether you want to, it's not like the flu, Erica. I know. You all are medical doctors now on the internet. You're medical doctors. Excuse me, medical doctor on the internet. Look at this thing in 3 more months. That's all I'm gonna say. What you're gonna realize is this was a global reset. This put 30% at home, and economy ain't gonna change. I know people like, Erica, America's never gonna be the same. Look at these bread lines, Erica. And I'm like, listen to me. These people that are in these bread lines, depending on where they at, okay, they need to be growing veggies. They need to be volunteering. Guess what? Farms everywhere, all over America, have volunteer shares. There's a thing called volunteer shares. If you volunteer for a certain number of hours a week, guess what? They give you food and you can take it with you. Now, many of you are going to say, well, Erica, people have kids and family. They can't be volunteering at a farm. If they tell me they're hungry, if they tell me they're starving, if they tell me they can't make it another week, and you can't volunteer with your little kiddos at a farm. The other day, my mom and all my cousins, my little nephews, went to go pick strawberries. And the strawberry owner said, thank you so much. Thank you for coming by and supporting. We're just so shocked that people are actually coming. We're so happy that people are coming because we thought we were just going to have to let all these strawberries rot or something. And my mom's like, bye, we got on mask. We fine. And they out there just picking little strawberries. My little 4-year-old nephew picking strawberries and taking pictures. And here's the thing. If you're a farmer right now, and I'm going to talk about this in the rise of the ultimate 20%. If you're a farmer right now, you should have a young kid in your family or some kind of younger person that's on your staff that helps with your marketing. Because all the farms here in Austin, Texas are selling out. They done sold out of meats. They done sold out of veggies. They got a van. This one company has a van that they wrapped, like one of those white vans, like kind of creepy. And they go and they drop the boxes off at your door. He's wearing his mask. He's got on his gloves, and he just picks the food boxes up and drops them out your door. It's called CSA. It's nothing new. It's been very old. It's been around forever. It's called community supported agriculture. So when you see all these farmers talking about, we don't know what we're going to do with this milk. We don't know what we're going to do with these veggies. Oh my God. Like, you're going to go back to what people did before, CSA, community supported agriculture. You're going to go to selling food boxes. You're going to put a box of veggies together. And right now, many of you may not have ever heard of this, but it's a thing where I think 60% of all produce is ugly. What we would call conventionally ugly, like carrots grow in multiple strands, and tomatoes, they're not cute, they're not good looking, they're not aesthetically pleasing. And big companies like HEB, like Harris Teeter, like Kroger, like Food Line reject those products. So those farmers usually sell those tomatoes and those cucumbers and those weird shaped carrots to where? Restaurants. Okay, restaurants are closed right now, or some that are open are just doing pickup only. So those farmers are doing what? Resulting to what? Selling you the ugly carrots. Okay. It's not a crazy concept. It's not a foreign concept. And what people are going to realize is there's a book, if I can ever find it, in my stack of books over here. It just talked about how a lot of things are going to go back to localized. That's all. A lot of these people in these small towns are living their best life right now. They're at home, kids riding bikes outside, playing basketball in the driveway, and people like, you guys aren't taking this pandemic serious. We are. Kids ain't at school. This is just Texas. We got more backyard than you. We got more front yard than you. We got more land than you. South Carolina, North Carolina, they got more older people. They're okay. They're taking it serious. We're all taking it serious. But for those of you who like the sky is falling, you have to examine who's sitting around you, who's talking in your ear, and what are you doing every day? What's your daily habit? For real. Okay, let me go down here. Y'all in here is chat's not things moving, button stuff. Oh, here it is. Okay. Justice fractures. Now, when the government collapses, the government people in charge can blame the Rona. Wake up, sheep. Texas is open. Most retailers aren't open in the Woodlands, Texas. Well, no pseudo, just facts. You're in the Woodlands, okay? I've been in Houston. Majority of places are open. Now, when you talk about retail doesn't need to be open. Office Depot's open. Best Buy's open. But Best Buy, even though it fired a bunch of employees, you still drive up, you park in the little space, and they bring your order out to you to go. Best Buy, for the past 5 years, majority of its sales has been in its online department. So yes, if you're in the Woodlands of Texas and you're looking at a Hobby Lobby to be open, no. If you're looking at Bed Bath & Beyond to be open, no. But if you really actually drive, now I'm not trying to insult you, no pseudo, just facts. The average person in America only drives 8 miles from their house in a circle. They've actually tracked this. This how much we're tracked by our government. 88% of all people live within 1 hour of their mother. This is according to the IRS. This is according to tax documents. This is according to CDC. Okay, and even guess what? The census. 88% of people live 1 hour from their mom in a radius. Now, the average person in America only drives 8 miles in a circle from their home. If it's outside the 8 mile radius, as far as work and school, this is where all the complaints come in about commuting. So I dare you to drive through the Woodlands, past the 8 miles around your house, actually all over, and actually look and tell me again if you think we're closed. I know there's some feisty Texans that want to disagree with me about Texas being closed. I get it. I feel you. If anybody feels you, I feel you. But again, where do you live? And are you driving outside that 8 mile radius? That's all. Because I just left Houston last weekend. A couple days ago, too. I went to Magnolia. Then I went further into Houston. Then I had to come back out. And guess what? A lot of things were open. They were open. Kroger's and stores. Just wide open. You know? It's a shame. I don't know. Anyway. I know several people getting hired after Skype interviews only. Companies are definitely hiring. I'm hiring, right? It is what it is. The payments and the paperwork still will have to get processed. That's what people understand. Going to the farm was part of my life as a kid in Kansas. We used to take the kids berry picking as a treat all the time. That's true. They're called imperfect vegetables. Thank you, DMV Pat. Thank you for the $2 best crap. Just us fractal. Just fractal. Listen, you know my pronunciations are a little bit off on here. About to buy The Power of Starting a Private Investment Group. You should. It's amazing. It's an amazing course. I've worked really hard on it. And everything I have, a lot of the marketing companies I've been working with is like, you should raise your prices. You should make it so expensive. And I said, listen. It's a combination, right? It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act because here's the thing. People know it will cost them something to be different. It will cost them something, time, energy, money, something. And they're fighting that, right? Like if I could tell you how much money I've spent this past 3 years, not just investing myself, but in my businesses and maintaining them and growing them. Like I love QuickBooks. QuickBooks tells me whenever I complain about money, QuickBooks tells me I'm full of shit. They'd be like, you spent all this money on travel and eating. I'm like, oh yeah, I did. Okay, I'm sorry. And if you don't track it, you don't know. If you're not measuring, you don't know. And that's why I'm so big on the planner. That's why I'm so big on journals and financial planners, because I grew up watching my mother have this green book. It was an accounting book. I love it. And to this day, she just realizes that she showed us that. And she would write her check, military, she'd get her pay 2 weeks. She'd write out all her bills. She'd do her math in the book. And then she'd have this much goes to saving and this much goes to tithes. And I grew up seeing my mother every month on paper write down bills, incoming, outgoing, and tithe. And I remember when other kids were kind of picking fun of me and my sister because we didn't have the newest clothes. And we're in this neighborhood and they're like, well, what you doing over there in the neighborhood with those white people? And I'd be like, what? Or even when the white neighbors were like, I don't know how your mom affords to be over here. She must be on alimony. And the kid told me what his dad said. And I said, listen, my mama told me to tell your dad, if y'all can't figure out how to pay y'all bills, that's not her problem. Now, my mama didn't tell me to say that, but I repeated it, and I shouldn't have, because I did get in trouble for that. But that's just where people are. People are so busy looking at their neighbor like, I don't even know how they afford that. Instead of focusing on their own backyard, instead of focusing on building. See, what you'll learn in this process, there's some neighborhoods here in Austin where those people over there, they got it. They got it. They got different investments. They got rentals. They got all stuff. Even somebody last time in the last video, I talked about the barbell investing method. And people like, you just gonna break even. No, that's not how it works. Now, again, I've had times where I was investment heavy and cash poor. And let me tell you, that's not a good idea, right? And I would put 98% of all my stuff in investments. And then I realized when you get short on cash, you're going to have to liquidate. So don't do that, okay? So there's got to be some balance. But again, I'll remind you what barbell method is. Barbell method is having a cluster of investments near your home. Then you go this straight line across, and there's a cluster of investments over here. Why? Because where we live, again, people who only drive 8 miles around from their house, where we live is usually a class A, class B type of environment. And everything around there is going to be class A, class B prices. Expensive. Not super great cap marks. High. Then you go across town. And this is, I'm going to explain it to you. Cross town. Within a reasonable driving method. It's called the barbell method. On this side of town, you have a bunch of investments in a cluster over here that you can easily track and watch and put one property management over per se. And this make you good gains over here. So it gives you balance. Something goes down this side of town, no problem. Still have this side. It's the barbell method. Now, prime example, when I was in Alabama with the Red Cross helping with the tornado relief in Pell City, Alabama, there was all these white people driving around. I mean, I'm thinking, we're going to have so many helpers. Look at all these people driving around. What I realized is those people own the properties there. That neighborhood we were in Pell City doing the tornado cleanup used to be heavily 98% white. And now it was 98% black. And I said, oh my goodness. So it was white flight and all these black renters living here and not going to get money from this tornado. Yeah, girl, they don't force rental insurance down here in parts of Alabama. What? Now, what was happening? All these people were driving around seeing their rental property that had been destroyed. I mean, there's some houses that were nothing but a slab. Everything was gone. You can't even tell. You just, it's not even a mailbox. They were driving around checking on their what? Property. So you can go and get that what? Insurance check, right? Now, they're over here. This is Pell City. Now, they're over here in Hoover and Vestavia Hills. Anybody in Alabama, please help me out if you know what I'm talking about. Vestavia and Hoover over here, where the average income in that part of Alabama is 92%. That's the medium income, $92,000 a year. Now, over here in Pell City, less than $30,000. Over here, $92,000. That's the barbell method. Now, when we had the Red Cross was parking semi trucks, we have the back of the swing door open, and you come out of Costco. Hey, you just donate something to the people over there in Pell City. Now, people in Hoover and Vestavia was living their everyday lives. My mom was down there helping a military unit, so I'm down there. We're like, hey, mom, I'm out here, and she's like, yeah, girl, everybody out here just going to work like regular. That's how our society works, whether it's a pandemic or not. A whole tornado can level 15 minutes across town. And guess what? Everybody on this side of town going to keep on going to work and living their life. See, so many people want to make you and shame you into feeling bad that you're not in the house like New York. We're not New York. We don't live like New York. We don't eat like New York. We don't act like New York. So, of course, we're not going to do the same in the pandemic. Now, see, people out here trying to shame you and calling half of Americans stupid. No, they're not. They're living their everyday weekly habits. That's what they're doing. That's all. And again, barbell method. This side of town, okay? This side of town, not okay. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. It's nothing new. Flip USA is just describing it, but it's nothing new. Foxy Girl 646. I'm in Houston, Sugarland. Did curbside at DSW and Best Buy this week. Thank you, girl. I know you are, because guess what? Houston's still open too. All right. Good job. El Chapo is free. That is the key part about that. Oh no. I have so many. Okay, there we go. The answer said people don't do anything in Woodlands anyway. Some of them little towns don't be doing nothing but living near Houston and being in the house. Oh, it's cracking me up, y'all. Everybody hit that like button. Look, there's about 300 of y'all in here and 76 likes. Hit that like button. And one, it's sickening that so many people want to actually be controlled and locked down. I know. But see, here's the thing, AM1. It's our minds. This guy was writing this book, and it's a really great book. And it was talking about men and women, how they're different, how men want to have order out of chaos. Women do too, but it's a different, right? Men want to make sense of it and put order to it, right? And it's, oh gosh, if I can remember the book, it'd be so great. But essentially, it was saying how a lot of times you meet people and you look at them and they're chaos and you want to put order to it. And this is what this is. This is chaos. People don't like chaos, so they want to put order to it. So he's like, hey, just wear a mask and go to work. Ah, okay. Good job. I can do that, right? Because it's order to the chaos. And this is why I read so many books, because sometimes I feel out of touch with everybody. I'll be like, why is everybody acting this way? I read a couple books and I go, that's right, that's right. Kind of, you have to realize you got to be in touch sometimes with people. Texas may be opening a bit early. Chris McDonald, let me clarify something to you. I live in Texas. I live here. I've been to Houston and Dallas. I've been to a couple other places in Waco this whole pandemic. And guess what? We've been busier than ever. When Abbott came on and said something about opening up business, they already were open. Okay, and I get it. I know y'all want to fight me so bad on it because you're like, you don't know everything, Erica. I'm telling you, I'm in my physical car going to Dallas, going to multiple businesses and talking and doing business meetings. And then I'm going to Houston and I'm doing business meetings and I'm meeting investors and I'm eating at places. And I'm here in Austin. And I go to the bar and I pick up the food and I do, you know what I'm saying? I know you want to fight me. I know Texas is going to have this explosion of virus. Listen, I live here. If the explosion was going to happen, was going to happen in Houston. See, everybody was waiting on Houston. See, they can't really be honest with you, but Houston's where it sets it off first. Period. They have the highest influx of people from Louisiana. You have actual people who live in the Houston and Beaumont area that drive back and forth to Louisiana for work. The number one video, if you go look on YouTube right now, you'll see a bunch of videos of people upset because they could not go to work in Louisiana this month. They drive back and forth Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, they stay over in Louisiana for a few days work, then come back on the weekends back to Houston. So if it was going to set it off, it would have already done it. And I get it. Everybody wants Texas to fail. I get it. They want people here to be sick so they can prove some pathetic theory. Stop it. Stop. I know it's just like, but yeah, we're not New York. I get it. Your desire so deep for us to be New York, but we're not New York. Okay, just like New Jersey isn't New York, even though it's right there. Virginia's not New York. North Carolina's not New York. South Carolina's not New York. I get it. You want to fight it because it makes you feel good. The news told you it was going to be bad, and it's got to be bad because the news told you, right? No, I'm sorry. Again, I live here. I actually talk to people who actually go outside their house in Houston. If it was going to set it off, it was going to set it off in Houston. Houston has the largest amount of Chinese people who fly back and forth for the Chinese New Year in Houston. The highest number of Koreans flying back and forth to Houston. Highest number of Vietnamese flying back and forth to Houston. Again, when I talk about Texas, I'm not pulling it out of my ass. I'm telling you, we have an international airport that specializes in going to China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, specializes. In Australia, where it's bad, you actually can get a lot of those flights out of Houston. So I get it. Your desire for Houston to be this it's gonna be disastrous. It's gonna explode. If it would have exploded, it would have done it already. Right? Remember those pictures you saw in New York where everybody's waiting hours in the thing, and everybody's like, everybody's gonna get infected. They're waiting to go through customs. That happened in Houston too. They were in there for 5 hours in lines, jammed in there. Guess what? No outbreak. I know. I'm sorry. I know you want it so bad to be a horror movie. I get it. I know. You want Texas to be a slaughter show, and I get you. I feel you. But it just ain't going to happen. Art Banaka, I was enjoying driving the empty highway for too long until I had to drive through Texas yesterday. You guys were supposed to leave the road for the truckers. I know, but it's because we're open in Texas. And I know it's hard. It's so hard for y'all to hear that. Dignity, I saw my dad do his bills good. If the media ain't covering it, people just don't see it. Facts. Sarah said, we have a nurse who got her stimulus check and is calling in at work a lot. She likes staying at home and she would live off the government any chance she can. Let me tell you something, Sarah, honey, I believe you. I believe you. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of women. I keep saying this. I know y'all hate when I bring this up, but you read the book Upside, you read the book, Why She Shops. It's a book about women, Why She Shops. You go read these books. A lot of these moms work because that's really good. One, because they want their own money. Two, if you had to budget tightly based off your husband's income, there'd be massive behavior changes. Massive. Think about that again. I'm going to say it, and you take it however you want. If you had to shop your monthly bills off of your husband's income, there'd be massive changes. I know a girl right now who's very upset. Her husband went out and bought a $1,000 bike. He's very into biking. He's in the DC area. He gives her an allowance of $200 a week. Now, people are like, an allowance? Nah, this ain't got nothing to do with the kids. It ain't got nothing to do with the food. Just money. Just like, hey, here's $200 a week. You know, go do something for yourself. Get your feet done, your nails done. Go do something outside of that. Outside the budget. It's just slush money outside the budget. They've been on Dave Ramsey for years. And she about a brick when he bought a $1,000 bike. Now, when it's your money, okay, it's together money. That was his splurge, right? Her splurge is $200 a week to do whatever, nails, hair, whatever. But his splurge was his bike. And why I laughed about it, because everybody's like, that's not right. He need to be talking to her. He can't be just buying no bike. And I'm sitting there in that group like, no. If she wanted something, she should have said something. Because remember, that's his money. And then dad's still his money. See, people don't want to hear the truth. And I'm going to be careful on that one. Because here's the thing. If you want to stay home and be with the kids and all the groceries are paid, all the lights are paid, and that's, you at home, doing the home thing, which is a serious job in itself, being home. There's a trade-off. People don't want to talk about that. But see, this is why I'm big on, you see all these moms joining MLMs and having little Shopify sites and selling candles and smell goods and stuff. So she have her own pocket change. Really. So she have her own pocket change. So she can spend without authority. I mean, I know people are going to be like, you're a jerk for saying this, but this is just truth. Read the book, Why She Spends, Why She Shops. It's a book on Amazon, Why She Shops. Somebody correct me. If you find it on Amazon, Googling it right now, let me know. It's like Why She Shops. And it's always based in like this overarching theory of taking care of family. But a lot of these women, if they didn't have to work, if they had a husband that could help them and be the actual stimulus check, they would not work. I'm telling you, there's too many studies saying about 15% of women who are like, gotta be at work. That other 85% would be like, deuce, I'm gone, I'm out. Again, working in women, lots of studies, raises your testosterone. Just telling you. And raises your stress level and your cortisol levels. But I'm going to leave that alone. That's why when people say, why are these women so masculine and grumpy? And you got them working. You got them working long hours, in traffic. Just saying. Oh, yeah, Sarah, if they give these people $2K a month, I'm telling you, if 75 million working Americans on average make $3,000 a month or less, and you tell them you're going to give them $2,000, all they're going to do is adjust their living. They're going to adjust their living. Now, you ever seen somebody who get in a car accident and then they at home? They do what? Adjust their living. You ever see somebody get laid off? What do? Start cooking at home every week. They adjust their living. Excuse me. And it looks like I'm thirsty, but This is not Trail City. It was Prattville. Excuse me, RSCB007. Thank you so much, Prattville. Sorry, it's been several years since I was there. I apologize. Oh gosh, I think the sales for like 5 days. I think it's 5 days. I have to go back and look in the system what I put. Oh, you picked blueberries last week? Congrats. Population density. That's the thing. I mean, Houston is, so if you go look it up, you can, again, don't believe me. Go read the article. Check out Texas Monthly. It talks about in the idealized world, Houston, it's a whole article. It's a whole monthly on Houston. And it's talking about if we actually did capitals the way we used to, Houston would be the capital because 2/3 of the population live in and around Houston. Now you're going to look it up. You're going to say, Eric, it only says 2 million. No. I don't mean just the metro. I mean the whole 11 counties surrounding Houston, from freaking Beaumont, Crosby, Texas, all the way over to Katy. That whole thing, like do the math, 22 miles across, all the counties surrounding it, that it feeds into Houston. It would be it's 2/3 of the whole state's population live there. And I know somebody's gonna be like, no, I just looked it up on Wikipedia. Okay, listen to me. Go on Texas Monthly. Go look up past the metro. Go look up the surrounding 11 counties. Like when this whole thing happened with the flooding in Houston, when Hugo, was it Henry? I think it was Henry. Henry happened, and everybody was freaking out, and all the contractors went down to Houston to go make money. They weren't just in Houston. They were in every county. They were even on the beach side. They were all down. Again, all those places feed into Houston. Okay? So when I talk about Houston, I talk about population density, we're talking about the 11 counties around Houston that feed that traffic you see all the way down on the news on Houston. That part. Daniel Harris, good quote about New York. Thank you. Listen, I got some ugly emails this week. Crack me up. So KW, my bestie lives in Houston, and we FaceTime about every day during this mess. I see all the traffic in her background. I see the parked cars at stores and such. Houston said Corona who? It really did. I mean, that's why I laugh. Thank you, Amanda P. I hope you enjoy it, because guess what? When they turn these courts back on, they turn these things back open in May. Because listen, I told y'all, when I said make sure you pay your rent, make sure you pay them taxes. They're not playing with y'all. Tax liens are gonna be on sale like regular clockwork in June, July, and this October, November, December. Tax liens, woo, they're gonna clean up. Ray Bickham said people are already not coming to work next week. They got their check. They, I'm telling you. Ricky Spanish, I would agree, but I can't read that out loud because I might get this video demonetized. Sherm Sweet, yeah. He said, New York can learn a lot from Texas. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. Minnie Rodriguez said the immune system's just worse. Damn. Nah, it's population this week. Photo booth chick. Wow, my girlfriend lives in Texas and refuses to come out without her mask and glove. She is not moving or walking around while this thing is here. Oh, well, you're supposed to. Well, here's the thing. The law says you're supposed to wear a mask. And actually, restaurants are actually refusing you to come in because the gloves keep the germs on your hands longer. So other day I was picking up some food from y'all's, and this girl came in with gloves, and the guy was like, well, actually, could you just use this pen? Like, he was like, your gloves have more germs than our hands, because people are doing what? Constantly washing their hands. People with the gloves, they're just driving in their car. They're going over here. They're going over there. They're pulling door handles. They're not washing their hands. You're supposed to pull those gloves off all the time. Have you ever seen nurses? Nurses' hands look like construction worker hands. Sometimes, not all the time, but my aunt, they wash their hands so much, they be so dry, they have to constantly put on lotion. Walk in a hospital, pay attention over by that little desk, the admin desk where they check in and stuff, and look on every floor. There'll be nurses over there doing this, rubbing lotions, non-smelling, no smell, hyperallergenic, whatever lotions on their hands because their hands are so dry. So imagine some nasty person out there with their gloves on, not taking the gloves off, just germs all up in this. So when I see people, I do keep the mask. I bought masks for the whole staff. One of the guys in my office has a 4-month-old baby. I already told him, if you feel sick, don't come up in here. I'm not playing with you. Don't come to work. Take the laptop home. Work from home. Work from home till you feel better. Don't come up in here. And so I gave him a mask. I'm giving some of the truckers a mask this weekend when some of them come through. But I'm like, don't come up in here. Don't come up in here. Again, it's the law. Houston, Austin, and Dallas and Waco kind of follow each other, and San Antonio. So you're supposed to have a mask. Your girlfriend is right. She's supposed to have a mask. The glove thing, she's supposed to have changeable gloves. She's not supposed to just use the same glove. But I'm not saying she does. I'm just saying. When it's all over, I wonder if everybody's going to stop wearing masks and gloves like the virus just appeared in the dinner. Listen, Mahogany, I will tell y'all right now, I was at, what do you call it? Freebirds, getting a burrito. And I'm in line. I ain't got no mask on, no gloves, no nothing. I'm just in line, ready to go, right? I got my yoga pants on, just doing what I do. And this man behind me and his friend came in. They're Hispanic. They're young guys. And his friends started, we have the spaces where you stay 6 feet apart. He starts walking right up behind me and is like, hey, how's your day? And his friend's like, back up, man. You in her space. And I just look back like, oh, my day's fine. I didn't know kind of what to do because I was like, okay, I guess he's just going to be up in, we ain't going to have no 6 feet, I guess, right? So then his friend is like, hey, you got to back up. So he backs up with him. And it was just funny because you're trying to change people's natural, be friendly position. Now, New Yorkers up north, Northerners, hey, don't speak to me, keep your space, don't cough in my space. No worries. Down south, we are close proximity people. We're like, hey, how you doing? You're like, okay, Big Bertha, don't hug me, calm down, back up. And so I just find that interesting because at first I really wasn't going to complain. I think my eyes were like, what you doing? Why are you coming up so close? What you want? And it was funny because his friend's like, back up your space. So it was funny. And they both had masks on. I'm like, your friend ain't paying attention. See what else y'all got in here. Pirate Nation. The internet and social media has made it easy for homemakers to make money and spend time with fam. Yeah. Why she buys. Thank you, sweet lady 19. It's fake. Eric M. Grant Cardone. Let me tell you something. I know y'all so bad want to bail. He gonna bankrupt. No, he's not. He's not. Dude's got 25 businesses. No. You know how many millions of dollars they make off? Okay, so one part of their business is in sales. Teaches that sales training. And it sells, they literally have staff that just call around dealerships every day selling. So now you're like, well, dealerships are closed, Erica. I've even talked to dealerships here where I was like, well, y'all got the Grant Cardone training? He's like, oh man, no, we ain't got it. But they always trying to call and sell it to us. And that's when I was trying to go buy that pickup truck 2 weeks ago. And he sells it to real estate agents, insurance companies. Like, trust me, he's fine. And then even now, like, I'll tell you like this. I went to the Grant Cardone 10X in Miami, and Ty Lopez got on stage and he said, "Hey, how many of you came here, because you saw I was going to be here?" And everybody's like, "Ah." How many of you have been following Grant for 6 months or something? Nobody stands up. How many have been following him for 3 months? A few people stand up. How many have been following him for 60 days? And then all these people stand up. Now, why is this important? You can be a dominant force. Like, I've asked people about the 4-Hour Work Week. How many of you, put a 1 in here if you heard of the 4-Hour Work Week book? Just put a 1 in here. I sat there and said, "Hey, you ever heard of 4-Hour Work Week?" And everybody's like, "What? What is that?" And just to make sure we're all talking about the same thing, Tim Ferriss, who now lives here in Austin, Texas, because Austin's where it's at. This book, this is the updated version. And I'll ask people all the time in business, and they'd be like, "No, never heard of it." This book, you would have thought, was everywhere. It was before its time. It talked about new money and living and doing the whole frat boy living in China and Vietnam and Philippines before it was cool. It talked about being in Argentina and Brazil before it was cool. And you'll talk to people and they've never heard of that book. It's like brand new to them. And so when people sit here and go, "Grant Cardone, he's bankrupt." No, he's not. All this ads he's running, all like that whole thing with Steve Harvey, having Kevin Hart, having all these people on stage, all that does is open him up to people who've never heard of him before. And I know you think he spends millions on ads. There's no way. Listen to me. Every day is a new day to meet somebody new. Every day. In the comments, you can see in my channel every day. Somebody's like, I just came on your channel a month ago. Just came on your channel 20 days ago. Again, Grant Cardone's not bankrupt. Now, if every bank called on every loan he had, whoo, that might be a rough day. But again, when you owe the bank $1 million, it's a problem. When you owe the bank $100 million, $100 million is the bank's problem. Okay, I'm saying? That's a real thing. Lady Plants a lot said, "My husband told me my job was to wash clothes and keep dinner on time." Listen, I know people don't believe that, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who their husband make about 70, 80. And if he just told them to chill out the house and can you clean up and have food ready? Can you just do that? And that's all he wants from you. Some people are shocked, but there's a lot of people who live like that and are just fine with that. Okay, somebody's got to focus on these little bad A kids. Somebody. Houston was supposed to be the original capital. Yeah, that's what it talks about in the Texas Monthly. That's right. I love it. D-Stan said Pearland, Sugarland, Dixon, Woodlands, Katy, Cal, Fair City, Mo City. Yeah, all of it. All of it. Yeah. I have one set of friends that live in Pearland, one that live in Sugarland. And I be like, it's the same thing to me, but it's not. When you start driving over that way, I got one friend lives in Katy. And they're like, "Oh, you going to go visit us?" I said, "I'm going to see y'all before I go into Houston. I'm going to see y'all. Then I'm going to leave from y'all house and go all the way across. I'm not coming back. If you can't meet me right now, we ain't going to meet. Because Texas is just Houston too far." Is the Classy Con Facebook group very active? Very active. Everybody in here, tell them, Making Money Operation. Classy Con Facebook group. They be in there every day chatting with each other. Minnie Rodriguez, "I don't mind working. It's the people at work I can't stand." Oh, yeah, they open the parks. They do. I use gloves to pump gas. Listen, Foxy girl, you got to use it to pump gas because they had scientists go around testing doorknobs with the swabs, gas pumps, door handles, and what was the other thing? Something else like gym equipment or something. On average, gas pumps had 6. I'm sorry, it's gonna be vulgar. Somebody brace yourself. 6 penises. When you touch a gas pump, you're on average touching 6 penises. When you touch a doorknob to go to the gas station, you're touching 4. And it was like, that's how many men don't wash their hands, that when they did the swabs, it was literally just covered in that type of germ, crotch germs. I'm sorry, it's so funny. I could just see these scientists in a lab somewhere like, what is this shit? So yeah. All that hand sanitizer and constantly washing make nurse hands rough as sandpaper. Yeah. Exactly. Uh-oh, I know two people got their check. One working at the post office, one working at the FedEx. Checks arrive on Monday, direct deposit, Arlington, Texas. Look at Radiance Music. I've been telling everyone that Houston is the city of the future. So what you'll end up having is somebody was calling Austin the Silicon Valley of the South, pretty much, and then that Houston will be the something of the South. I can't remember, but they be making fun of it, calling the Atlanta of the South, which makes Houston people very pissed. They're like, we're better than Atlanta. Shut your mouth. Houston don't follow no Dallas. Exactly. I mean, when the governor, when the mayor of Houston says something, then the mayor of Dallas is like, we're gonna do this too. And then the Austin mayor is like, we're gonna do this as well. Austin mayor should just shut up because we have the governor here. So every time he says something, everybody's like, why are you talking? We got a governor. Why are you talking? I got a 3M mask from the oil field. Yep. Ooh, David Porter. He said, not lying about the gloves. I don't touch anything after my supervisor because he uses them everywhere. Minnie Rodriguez, so true. I have elephant skin hands. Oh yeah, listen, Magnolia. I'm gonna put on my sundresses in this summer and watch. People gonna walk up on you like nothing else. Laredo is the only city I've been to that's strongly enforcing the mask. Well, look where Laredo's at. I'm gonna just say that and not be in trouble. Oh, Agent J Poole's exactly right. Before the end of the year, Grant Cardone was be buying businesses. Yeah, he was trying to be in my space. He may have been. I don't know. Look, DMV Pat, Jay Morrison, and Grant Cardone were getting all the heat all week. You already know. And guess what? All you gotta do is keep marketing. I keep telling people this: keep swimming. It's an old saying, keep swimming, right? Something's going wrong, keep swimming. So if you're going through hell, keep on going. It's a thing. Just talk about it. Exactly, Minnie. I don't think. Listen, people. I'm gonna say this and be nice as possible. When you have to be forced to be distant from people, and then you get a chance to go outside, I've noticed everybody. I'm be just a little bit racial, but not too bad. All the white people that usually are kind of quiet. Hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, there's some parts of Austin where I go and people aren't chatty. Lakeway, being honest, and parts of Round Rock sometimes. And all this week, everybody's like, hey, how you doing? You having a good week? I'm like, yeah, I'm having a good week. I'm glad we're all outside, you know? And I'm like, all right, yeah, have a good day. Like, people are very friendly. I went to the gas station, man's opening the door, have a good day. Like, okay. But that's what this is going to do. It's going to make people, when the summer hit, they're going to be out here. Upstate New York is not like New York City. 2 hours away makes a difference. Yes, Diane Dupree. I have a friend who has a family farm, 6 sons, family farm up north. They all live in North Carolina and Virginia now. And their parents are up there, upstate New York, bored out of their mind. They're like, it's so boring here. So they come down to North Carolina all the time. But yeah, you are correct. Upstate New York is not New York City. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Justice said the 4-hour work week was the one book my uncle gave me before he died. He knew what was coming. Man. Upstate New York should be part of Canada. Man, y'all really hate. Y'all be hating New York. Y'all be so mean to upstate New York. They just out there being forced to pay taxes like y'all. I'm just telling you, listen. Foxy girl, remote controls are very dirty too. Especially people giving their kids remote controls, and I'm like, wipe them things down. I'm telling you, I could just imagine these scientists like, ew, this is nasty. They tried to make New Haven a Silicon Valley and East Coast, and pretty much sure won't be succeeding that way. Yeah, we still love. I'm about to get out of here, but I just wanted to keep my promise that I had told people that I was going to give the 60% off coupon for everything inside the store, every single thing, even things that have payment plans. It'll be 60% off for 3 months, so you better get it in while you can. You know, Houston, sometimes Chris McDonald be looking like a blast, but then I get down there and y'all drive like y'all don't love your life. That's the only problem. I get to Houston and the men folk is good looking, but boy, y'all get down there and y'all be driving like y'all don't love y'all life. I can't do it. I can't live in a city where y'all don't love y'all life. Yep, New Bern, New York. Yeah, I mean, that's very popular. Andre Hatchett used to come on here and talk to me about New Bern, New York. Some of our old videos, if y'all ever see them. But yeah, y'all, that's all I had to bring up tonight. Like, Texas is open. We still out here doing it. I'm going to send an email out to everybody tomorrow. And again, listen, the best thing you do is create a habit of winning. Starting businesses, building something. Complacency is really what's hurting a lot of y'all. Lack of talking to people that are like you or going in the direction you're going is also hurting a lot of people. So the phone call today, when I did those 3 hours of phone calls, it like just breathed life into me. And I only talked to one of my friends for like 10 minutes. He's like, "How you doing, baby?" He cracked me up every time. He'd be like, "Oh, I see you living well out there." And he got money. He living the dream. You know what I mean? So again, it's all about perspective and it's all about who you talk to on a daily basis. And that's part of me putting together the class, The Rise of the 20%, because the people in there, like right now, I was supposed to do a video with them. And most of the people in there are like, "Yo, we ready to buy this thing. Let's go." And it cracks me up because that's how it should be, right? You want to surround yourself. You want to surround yourself with people who are go-getters and who are going to make it in this economy, who are going to do smart things, period. That's what you want. And I can't convince you of that. You got to want it for yourself. There is going to be a 30% that won't return to regular work. But this is the choice out of that 30%. We see in every study and scenario, whether it's coal miners, workers, whoever, they're going to either pick something else and elevate their life, or they're going to go down. And their quality of life's going to go down, how they think, how they act. And this is the worst time for you to be like, "You know what I'm going to do every day? I'm going to just drink every day. I'm just going to drink every day and be boring and not walk and not drink water and not take care of myself," because what you're doing is training your body to what you do. Same thing with cheat meals. I talked about this with my trainer, but I know it because I've read enough about it. Every time you say, "I'm going to reward myself by cheating or eating crap or doing this stuff," you're training your body. That's what you do. Okay? So you got to train yourself in this time. That's not what you do. You read, you walk outside. A lot of these people you're going to see is people improving their life greatly. Radiance Music, we got up to about 160 people, I think, in the Facebook group. People are still waiting to be in. Alan's slowly adding them in. Facebook is tripping and not letting him be an admin. I don't know what the problem is, but we will make sure you message him and have the Facebook email, because see, out of the 357 people, we sent an email out to all the people, the email they purchased. And people are like, "That's not my email I use for Facebook." Oh, okay. Well, won't you send us the email you use for Facebook? And that has been like pulling teeth. So again, this is the time to train yourself on what to do better. So if you're in the class, you know what group I'm talking about. If you're in the class, you know what I'm talking about. But I just want you to understand, choose yourself. I've got a friend right now. He just moved, and I was talking to him today, just trying to see how he's doing. And again, he's still like, "I don't know what I should do. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do this." I'm like, pick a thing. You cannot be in your 30s going, "I just don't know." You have to pick a thing. And you actually pick it and stick with it for a year and see how it works. See, the thing is, we just sit in this, "I don't know. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I don't know." And it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you. So I'm giving away this 60%. And I promise you, I already know some people still going to not be like, "I don't know. Again, I already know. I've been strategically investing my stimulus check all week. I got Kamoy's course. Congratulations. Ty Millie's and some things on your site. It's going to be a long way. Listen, bite size by time. Literally go up, do an hour a day on all the things you should be studying. Dang, Radiance Music said, "I have friends in their 50s and still don't know." See, this is the thing. That's scary to me. That's scary. And I mean, that's scary to me. Radiance Music, do they be like, "I just want to be comfortable"? That word scares me too, because that's like, don't pinpoint me on an answer. I just want to be comfortable. And you go, what does that mean? Well, and it's so vague and it never goes anywhere. It's the worst thing I've ever heard out of people's mouths. Anyways, you guys, grab the horses. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll send out an email to every single group, and we will be working on making sure everybody who purchased the Ultimate Rise of 20% is in the private Facebook group so that they can level up and communicate with each other and grow businesses together. Okay? Because I know that's what you want to do, and this is the perfect time to do it, because guess what? Grant Cardone will still be way rich because he has private money. Private money. Private money is the name of the game for the next 10 years. As banks, I told y'all, I could do a whole video on why banks are dead. They only want to work with people who comfortable as a heartbeat away from poverty. Exactly, Agent Chapo. That's a freaking slogan. I'm telling you, right now, that's the only way to go. Private money. Because a bank, I remember this guy was telling me he made $500,000 a year, and a bank told him no because he didn't have any credit. So he had to go out and get a Home Depot card and a couple other cards. And he was like, because he really wanted to buy this $1.5 million house. Let's be honest. It wasn't because he couldn't just buy some cheap house. He wanted to buy this $1.5 million house. And when you don't have credit, like, even though the banks could see he made $500,000 a year, he's out here. He's a vice president of one of these tech companies out here in Austin. They weren't going to give him a loan. He was like, are you kidding me? And finally, the guy was like, well, we're going to work with you. We're going to do this. We're going to get you a secure card. We're going to do this or whatever. And he just laughed. He was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So again, banks have been dead and private money is going to be here. But again, you got to create a habit. You got to show people you're a winner. You got to show people you actually get things done. But anyway, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classic on Blog. Later.